Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elisa and today I'm here with you and with an episode of my podcast, the Knitting Stories podcast. So I think it's been a pretty long time since the last episode, so this will be I think an interesting episode. So a lot of things have happened. I've posted some videos and I've produced some videos, but they were mainly, I think, inspirational videos, kind of, pattern roundups and ideas about I don't know, summer yarns and so on. And yeah, spring and summer usually in the knitting world and in the knitting communities are very inspiring months, I think. So first of all, excuse me for the setup. This is pretty temporary because as you may know, I'm living in the Netherlands, near Amsterdam, very close to Amsterdam, but I'm from Italy. So I'm here for my internship, for concluding my master's degree back in Italy, and I'm doing an internship in an art gallery, which actually it's a job that I really love. I had to face the Dutch house market in this moment, which is pretty awful. So this situation is pretty temporary. I'm like in this room for just 1 week, and then I'll probably have an apartment on my own, and for me and my boyfriend, who's actually with me. So excuse me for the like kind of display and setup, which is actually not the best. But anyways, the fact that I do not have a permanent house did not stop me from knitting, of course, and I have quite a full episode. So we will start, as always, with finished objects, then we'll move to works in progress, and after that knitting plans, because I have a lot this time. So let's start with the organizational things and bureaucratic things. So just let me give you some information. I am both here and on Instagram with the handle at Elisa Knitting Stories. So if you want to be updated on my videos here, just press the subscribe button, or also head over to Instagram and press the follow button. I would be happy to see how many of you are following me. I would be happy to check on the progress of your projects, and I can't wait to see also the projects of the people that are following me in this moment, that are watching my videos, because I always find that this is very inspirational to me. So I can't wait. It would be very helpful for me if you could start following my journey and press that like button. So first of all, let me name what I'm wearing, because usually you ask me a lot this question. So I'm currently wearing my twist loop top by Other Loops, which I made I think 3 or 4 months ago, maybe less. So I made these in Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino in the shade Piglet, and I really like it, even if I think that this shade is pretty close to my skin tone, but who cares, it's ripped. There's a beautiful cable in the middle, so I'm not worrying too much for this reason. I don't think that people think that I'm naked, which is I know when choosing neutral colors from a website, this is always my strongest preoccupation and my strongest fear, and in this case I was pretty right, I would say. But never mind, I really love this piece. Also the Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino is very drapey, but at the same time a bit bouncy, so it was perfect to make this top. But let me start with the finished object. So if you've seen my last episode, you may remember that I was knitting the Naked Tee by Naked Knits, which is let me say a long sleeve t-shirt, which is knitted at a pretty small gauge. So let me first of all show you the finished object, because I'm absolutely in love with it. Ta-da! Like, can you see? I just love it. And if you watch closely, you can see how small the gauge is. So and yeah, what I love the most is the first of all is the double knit that you find here at the bottom. And actually I think I did a pretty good job at making this double hem. But after that, also the unfinished touches on the sleeves, on the sleeve cuffs, and also on the collar. It's just like a beautiful staple piece. So let me say that I really love this tee, or long sleeve tee. I love it because I made it pretty fitted, and actually this is what I wanted, because the pattern is great. I think that this is, let me find Ravelry. The Naked Tee is a long sleeved thin and soft top in the simplest form. It has a very straightforward construction, but it's knitted bottom up. So I started at the bottom and then I went up, and yes, another thing is that it doesn't have any sizes, because you're supposed to knit this following your like measurements. So you check the gauge, of course, and you verify that you're on gauge, and then the pattern gives you some calculation to understand how many stitches you should cast on and the length that you should have. But actually it's like I never measured. I simply tried my t-shirt on and decided when I needed to, you know, to divide for the front and from the back, for the back, and when I had to start with the sleeves and so on. So it was also a very fun project, even if it's knitted in a very thin yarn, because it was a completely new construction for me. So both bottom up and very customized measurements. You had to stay very focused to you know, make create the perfect tee. I'll add probably some pictures here and some videos of me wearing my t-shirt, and also wearing my t-shirt with my one of my other pieces, which I thought about when I was knitting this one, which is the vest number 2 spring edition by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I think that they go perfectly well together. So about the pattern, I would say that this is knitted with a very thin yarn, with a lace weight yarn. The suggested yarn actually is cashmere, but I did not use cashmere. I used wool. I don't actually know which is the brand that I used, because I bought this from back in Italy. There's this lady who just goes to the different factories and shops which sell yarn, and she picks up all the remnants and all the yarn that can't be sold, and she sells it for a lower price. So I bought this beautiful yarn from her. I bought 200 grams of yarn from her, and I just paid like 8 euros, but I think I have leftover yarn, like maybe 40 or 50 grams of yarn, which is absurd, and now I don't even know how to use that, but yeah, that's it. And the gauge is pretty thin, as I was telling you. It's if I'm not wrong, 32 stitches per 60 rows for a 10 centimeter gauge in stockinette stitch. But what matters is that I finished my naked tee. I really loved it. I've already used it because actually in the Netherlands we didn't have a very summery summer in this moment. Like, yeah, in this moment there's the sun, and I told to myself, okay, this is the perfect moment to start shooting a podcast and filming a podcast. But yesterday it was awful, guys. There were so many, like, the wind was so strong and was so fast that I don't know how many trees just fell down in the Amsterdam city center and how many houses were damaged. So that was pretty horrible. And so yeah, this summer is not a real summer, especially for me, that I'm used to Italian summer, you know, very hot, very warm. I wouldn't probably be able to wear this thing back in Italy, and so I'm pretty happy to be here, actually, if I'm honest. So actually this is my only finished object, but yeah, it was a pretty long one. It was beautiful knitting it, and yeah, it kept me company for a long time. But now I have a lot of whips to show you, also because, like, I felt the need to start a lot of test knits in the last months, and so I started two, and these two test knit also correspond to yarn acquisitions, because actually since I moved to the Netherlands I didn't bring with me a lot of yarn, because I needed my luggage for my, like, you know, for my clothes and things. So I didn't have a lot of yarn here, and so I had to purchase some in order to create something else and make new garments for me. So yeah, I think that we can start with the first test knit to which I applied, and yeah, so let me take it. It's in this little bag, which is by Retrosaria Rosa Pomar in Portugal. If you know me, you know that I just love Retrosaria Rosa Pomar, and like, I would like to own all of their yarn. Like, I would love to try them all, but actually I can't. So inside here, you will see my first whip, which is the, let me show you, here it is. So this is the MINOU top, and it's this beautiful cabled top, and the author of the pattern is Knitting Deer. So Knitting Deer, or Louise, if I'm not wrong, has invented this kind of cable, and she's already published a pattern with this kind of cable, which is the MINOU cardigan, of course. And when I saw it, I immediately fell in love. And when I saw the test call for testing the MINOU top, I just told myself that I had to, and I was accepted to the test knit. So here I am knitting my MINOU top. So I would like to start telling you a little bit about why I wanted to choose to test knit this top. And this is not just because I really love the pattern, it's also because MINOU was the name of my little rabbit. She was so cute, and all of my family was really in love with her. And so when I first saw the MINOU cardigan, and after that the MINOU top, I just fell in love with the name and with the idea and with the fact that this top really remembers me of her. And so I just had to knit this one. I just had to. So this is the little story behind this MINOU top, and let me tell you a little bit more about the pattern. So the pattern is very easy to follow. Like, you start knitting all of the triangles that make up the upper part and part with the sleeves, and then you connect them and start knitting in the round. The pattern is fully charted, so yeah, you need to be able to follow the charts, but I would say that Louise did a very good job at explaining the chart. She followed, of course, the indications that we as knitters gave her, and I would say that this is pretty. I felt pretty comfortable when following the chart. What I should say is that this is not a very fast top, because of course there's half fisherman's rib. So these cables are made with half fisherman rib in this part, and then you change to stockinette when you do the cable, of course, and then you restart with these half fisherman's rib. But of course knitting half fisherman's rib is pretty long, but I thought it was the perfect occasion, is exactly because with a top I wouldn't have had to knit, you know, the sleeves and so on. So yeah, the pattern is pretty easy to follow, the charts are well explained, and what else could I say? Yeah, and Louise is just I don't know, so kind, and she always listens to we test knitters, and so test knitting for her has been a great experience. I also love the fact that we have actually, because the test knit, of course you can see that I haven't finished my my top. The test knit will run until the 12th of July, and today, just for your information, is the 6th of July. Yeah, she listens a lot to us. There's a group chat which is very helpful, especially because you can know and meet other test knitters and other knitters, of course. So it has been a great test knitting experience, and yeah, I've done some other test knits, and I would say that this is one of the best experience I've had so far. What I would say again is about the yarn. So these adjusted yarns are two, because Louise did, I think that she knitted her her MINOU top in the famous Cardiff cashmere, which is pretty expensive, and I think that for this reason she also suggested one other yarn that is the one I chose, and it is the let me take my skein. It is this one. It's one of my purchases. It's the BC Garn Bio Balance, and this is 55% pure organic wool and 45% pure organic cotton. So it's this one. I think it's beautiful. I can tell you that it's very soft, and at the same time it's like the right middle point between the, you know, dryness and I would say softness. So I think it's perfect. The knitting experience was great, except for the fact that like the suggested needles for this pattern are 4mm needles, but I'm knitting with 3mm needles, and that's a bit crazy, but I got gauge. I don't know why. I know that I am a very loose knitter, but I was talking the other day with one of the test knitters always for the MINOU top, and she told me that she had to go down to 3.5mm needles, and that she was knitting pretty tightly in order to get gauge. So I don't think it's just me, I think it's the yarn in general. And this skein is 50 grams per 225 meters, and yeah, the suggested needles for this yarn are between 3 and 4mm needles, and you should have a gauge of 25 stitches per 35 rows. So I was pretty on gauge with this yarn using 3mm needles, and the gauge is measured through the chart. So it was pretty easy. You have to make one of these, of course, repeats for the top, and you have to check that your gauge is right. I would say that this yarn is not super expensive because it's like €6.90, and for the quality that you get is wonderful. I mean, I've just used almost 2 entire skeins for these, and I have other 2, but I don't think I will use the 4th at all. I think that maybe I will start to use a little bit of the 3rd, but absolutely I won't use the 4th, and so that leaves me like, what should I do with that 4th ball? Maybe I could use it as a contrast color for another test knit, or I don't know, for another knit. Just, I don't know, I will see. Also because I don't see myself knitting an accessory in this color, or I don't see myself knitting, and actually in summer I don't knit a lot of accessories. I prefer to knit, you know, tops and summer garments. And I won't probably knit an accessory in winter using a wool cotton blend. But yeah, so far the knitting experience was beautiful. I really like the yarn and also the pattern. I really recommend it, and I will show you the finished object in the next podcast. In the next podcast episode. So, okay, I did it. So let me put it away. So in this moment, like as you can see, my work is on cables, is on cords, because I started another test knit, and this other test knit is in this other bag, which is the knitting bag by, of course, the famous Petit Knit. And I've almost finished this one, almost. So let me show you, and just a second, because I have a needle inside here, just because I'm doing the Italian bind off. So yeah, wish me luck. So let me show you. This is the Sailor Swift top by Kutova Kika, and I started this test knit, I think, on the 29th, on the 30th of June, and today it's the 6th of July, and you can see how far I got. Like, yeah, as you can see here, I've just started the Italian bind off. And like, I just need to do the I-cord here on the sleeves and also on the collar. So like, it was a very quick knit, and it was pretty nice. Like, it was fun. If you know me, you know that I just love stockinette stitch. You know that I'm a stockinette nerd, I would call myself. And you know, knitting stripes, it is just very fun, except for the part when you have to sew, you know, these little nice ends. But you know, I think that when I started knitting in the round, I did a pretty good job at carrying the yarn. So this is the job I did. Like, sorry if you can't see anything, I'm just trying to use my viewfinder, which actually is the mirror that I have there. So sorry if I continue to look at, I don't know, outside and not in the camera, but it's just for this reason. So the knitting experience was very nice. The pattern was actually, it was written very well, I should say. There were just a few things which could have been, like, you know, a little bit clearer. Like, you could give some information about how to change colors, if there's a preferred method or not, and so on. But the pattern was pretty great. What I didn't like a lot was the test knitting experience, because it felt much more impersonal. Like there's no group chat on Instagram. There's just Word, like Google Drive document, which is shared among test knitters, and there you do the comments, which is pretty helpful. Like if you want to make a note directly on a specific area of the pattern, but actually there was no connection with other test knitters, and so that was a bit of lacking according to me. But yeah, it was pretty different. I don't want to make comparisons, but I felt also that the presence of Louisa of Knitting Deer was much more constant, while of course for Kutobakika, well, she commented of course on the document, and she commented our notes and our suggestions. But yeah, it wasn't the same. Every knitter is different, every designer is different. Maybe there's someone who enjoys group chats and who would love to read through group chats and so on, and maybe there's someone else who doesn't. I think I'm right in the middle, but usually for test knit I find myself better when there's a group chat, because in this way, if I have a problem or if I have an idea, I can directly I know that my comment will be seen by other test knitters. I don't know, what do you say, guys? What do you think? Do you think that having group chats for test knit is good? Do you think that document on Google Drive works better? I don't know, I have mixed feelings about this. I just know that I found myself better working through group chats, but I know that this is just my opinion and that this is very personal. Nonetheless, I think that I just love, my god, can you tell that I'm writing my thesis in this moment of my life? I can tell, guys. I think that this was a very fun knit, because it was very fast, because I loved, the changing colors. I just loved the, spending time choosing the colors that I had to use and so on. And also, even if at the end you have this twisted rib, which I think I did pretty great. So at the end you have this twisted rib, which was actually very fast, and the Italian bind off, it was not that bad. I really like Italian bind off, actually. I know that this one is an unpopular opinion in the knitting world, but it's like it is. Yeah, I would really recommend this pattern again, because it's very simple, it's very easy, it's very fast, and yeah, the yarn I used. So in the end, I decided the pattern gives you two possibilities. You can use as Kutobakika did. You can use I think a DK sport weight yarn, or you can use also thinner yarn, but of course you should take into consideration the fact that you would have a pretty a looser and I would say also a drapier garment maybe. So in the end I decided to use one of my favorite yarns for knitting in the summer, because it's very cheap, first of all, and because I think that the final result is very nice, which is the Holstgarn Coast. And I talked about this yarn also in my most recent video, which was about summer yarns, and I held this double. So this Sailor Swift top, my Sailor Swift top, is knitted in Holstgarn Coast held double. The colors I chose were dark navy, or the navy, I don't know, let me check. Dark navy for the main color, and ivory for the contrasting color for the stripes. And now I have a little suggestion for you. So I was very undecisive about which color I should pick and which not. I just knew that I wanted a very neutral color, either for the stripes or for the main color. But in the end, I just checked one of the sections that there's on the Holstgarn website, which is specials. I don't know if you're familiar with their website, otherwise I will link it down below and maybe you can just check it. And on these, sorry, I'm looking at my computer because actually I have the page open just to be more precise. So in this page, in this section, they have one color bags. They're called one color bags, and they have those bags both for Costa and for Super Soft, which are their signature yarns, I think. And what are these one color bags? They are just bags, pretty literally, of 200 grams of yarn, of one type of yarn. So you either have Coast or you either have Super Soft, and you can choose among a selection of colors. They're not, of course, all the entire and enormous selection that Holstgarn has for you. And Holstgarn sometimes has some, I don't know, some threads or some balls which are not, maybe, I don't know, they are pretty good when you knit with them, and they are pretty similar to the, don't know, to the threads that you get when you buy simple cakes, but they're just let me see what they say here. They say, sorry, one color bags are for you who don't mind tying a knot or weaving in an additional end. The bags contain a minimum of 200 grams of yarn. There is one color in each bag, and it is all from the same dyeing lot. So yeah, I got like 200 grams of these navy blue for just around 10 or 11 euros. And yeah, because I knew I would have to buy a little bit more than 3 balls or something like that, so I would have probably spent more than 10 euros. And so in the end I decided to go for this color, which was available in a one shade color bag, and therefore paying a bit less for the right quantity of yarn actually. And then I just simply chose the color based, chose the contrasting color based on the colors that I chose for my main color. And so I ended up choosing ivory, which actually I think works pretty good with this dark navy. Plus, I don't have anything of this color in my wardrobe, so I thought this would have been a very welcome addition to my wardrobe. And yeah, actually I can show you the one color bag, and it's this, pretty literal, as I was telling you. Sorry for the noise of this package, but let me just show you how a cake comes into this format. So you can either find big cakes like these, or smaller cakes like this. But usually you have a lot, and actually I have a lot of you know, I have a lot of yarn. Again, I don't know what I will do with it. Maybe I don't know, maybe I will do a little scarf or a sort of kerchief for the summer and to protect my head and something, but I have like this. So this is what I have left. Probably I would use like this little ball just to make the I-cords, but yeah, I still have a lot. And sorry for the noise. So yeah, this is what I have left. And the other color, which is ivory, it's this one. So I have quite a lot also of this ivory. So yeah, I think it's all for my Sailor Swift top. which is pretty nice. I can't wait. Okay, where is the needle? Yeah, I can't wait to finish it and to just I don't know, wear it and show it to you on my Instagram. And so yeah, I think this is all for works in progress. As you know, I never work on a lot of projects at a time, and this is pretty weird for me, working at two tops all together. But yeah, I felt that cast on energy slash test knitting energy, and fortunately I was chosen. So the last test knit, which was by Kutobakika, is due the 9th of July, so I just have a few days, but I'm confident. I think that I can finish it tomorrow, and yeah, and then block it, and it will be ready for the 9th, so for Monday. What else I could say? Oh yes, I told you that I had some plans for my next knitting adventure, and for one I also got some yarn. So the next project that I would like to knit is the Vilma top by Gregoria Fibers. If you've seen my one of the last episodes of one of my last videos, which was about lace patterns, I talked about these beautiful actually it's called top, but I think it's more like a vest, because of the gauge and of the yarn which is chosen, which is recommended. So let me say that I bought the yarn, and actually it was a gift for my birthday, which was in May, and the yarn that I got is, ta-da! I'm so excited for this. So this is Peruvian Highland Wool by Filcolana, and I know it's like nothing special, but actually in Italy you can't get Filcolana, and this is why I'm so excited. So I bought these here in the Netherlands, actually from a shop that actually exists, in the sense that it has a physical shop, but actually I think it's mainly a web shop, an online shop, which is Woolly Hood in Utrecht. And yeah, this is the recommended yarn for the pattern, and so I thought to myself, okay, that's perfect, I just love the pattern, I will try a new yarn, and I will also try a new yarn brand, and I think that this was just meant to be. So I chose the color, I don't remember, oh yeah, Marzipan, I think. Yeah, it's the color Marzipan, and actually if you want to check, is 977. It's worked with 4 or 5 millimeter needles, and the gauge is between 16 and 20 stitches per 10 centimeters, and it's 100% virgin wool. I can tell you that it's very soft, a bit dry. It's not the softest yarn ever, like it's not merino wool or something, but usually I'm not very sensitive when it comes to yarn and wool, so I'm okay with this, and I can't wait to have another. Well, it's a top, but actually to me it will work like a vest or a sleepover. Of course, you will see here appearing some of the images of the top, and yeah, I'm just so excited. I can't wait to use these skeins. And also it was very cheap, like I had to buy only 5 skeins of these to make myself a vest, so it was just perfect. I can't wait to cast these on, but first I will need to finish my test knits, so this is my only condition. And after that I have another knitting plan, and actually I'm going to tell these hoping that my mom will not like listen to this podcast in this exact moment. So mom, if you're listening to this, please close YouTube. I know that you don't speak English very well, but I know that you can understand this, so please close this. Okay, so now I can tell you, hopefully. It was on the 28th of June was my mom's birthday, and I've knitted her something. Like, I've knitted her in the past. I knitted her like a scarf and, well, very accessories, little things. But we were talking, and I always talk about yarn, and she saw the tie loop tee by Other Loops, and oh my god, guys, she fell in love with that. Like, she told me, you need to make me this. So I thought, you know what, this is going to be fun. I just love the pattern, I just love the finished look. I know that it will probably be hard because I've heard, I think that is Anna Passei Trevino who is knitting these the tied loop top too, and she recently published a video when in which she was talking about her current projects, and she is currently knitting on the tied loop tee. And she explained that it's worked with a lot of short rows and things like that, and I know that this won't be a very fast knit, but you know what, for my mom, this and anything else in the world. So I decided I will be knitting the tied loop top, the tied loop tee, sorry guys. I just have to choose which yarn to use, because actually knitting it with the suggested yarns, which are, like, if I'm not wrong, Isaher Trio 2 and Isaher Alpaca 1, it would be very expensive, especially for my mom, who I would probably need to knit her a size medium or a size large, and it would probably cost me around 100 euros, and I don't know if I can afford that. So if you guys have some yarn suggestions, please give them to me. And of course, consider that my mom is still living in Italy, and so it's very warm there, and I can't knit her like something in wool, a tee in wool. It would probably, like, I was thinking about merino cotton blend, maybe Saona by Wool Dreamers, which I'm very curious to try, but yeah, we'll see. So I'm definitely going to knit that, and yeah. So guys, I think this was all for today. I hope you had fun, because it's always fun, filming podcasts and so on, and in the end I'm just like, oh my god, I don't know if I've said everything that I wanted to say. I don't know if I was precise enough. I don't know if I was just like a good host. So let me know if you want me to change something, if you would like to have more information about one of the projects that I told you about. Let me know if would you like to see my other videos. I have some plans ready for you, but of course I need some time to shoot the video. And yeah, I think that was all, guys. So as always, thanks for watching. You can press the thumbs up button. You can press also subscribe, of course, if you like this video and would like to be updated on my new videos. And you can also follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, because there I post a lot more and a lot more frequently, so you would be updated on the things that I do and the things that I make, and also a little bit on my life here in Amsterdam. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one, guys. Happy knitting!